Welcome back to Inside the Heat. In the fall of 1988, the first Heat team was built from scratch and comprised of 6 inexperienced rookies and 6 grizzled veterans nearing the end of their careers. They would blend together to create the Miami Heat's inaugural team.
On October 8, 1988, the Heat opened its first training camp at the University of Miami. While the team was preparing for its first season, it was up to the front office to prepare for the first regular season game in franchise history.
A lot of us had never put on a basketball game before, had never worked for a franchise.
You had no one to go to. You had no choice, so you had to just find a way to get it done.
Everything in the arena had only been tested a few times, scoreboards, the stats crew, all the statistical systems, all these kinds of things.
It was hectic. I think we all slept in the office.
Just 2 days before their first game, the Heat made a significant addition, signing veteran Rory Sparrow, who instantly became the team's first leader and starting point guard. Finally, on November 5th, 1988, the Miami Heat premiered on opening night.
It is truly showtime in Miami.
We were in regular tuxes, and of course the giveaway was the tuxedo T-shirt.
The atmosphere was very Hollywood. We had Don Johnson, we had everybody coming out in tuxedos.
It was all a part of the coming out party, the introduction of the Miami Heat to the Miami community.
And I remember really feeling a sense of accomplishment, but a sense of pride too, to be part of this, and the fact that it really was history.
With the first game underway at Miami Arena against the Los Angeles Clippers, Rory Sparrow made the first basket in Heat history, nearly 4 minutes into the first quarter.
When Rory Sparrow pulled up and hit that mid-range jump shot, we're all kind of holding our breath, hoping this thing would go in.
I felt very comfortable about the shot, and it went in, and the place went crazy, and I was like, okay, that's 2 points, and we still got to get back into this game.
The team kept competing, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The Heat lost its first game against the Clippers, 111-91. Those first Heat fans fell in love with their team, regardless of their record, and displayed their support night in and night out. The Heat was quickly becoming known as a scrappy, hard-working team on the court, and from day one, for the in-game entertainment and a fan experience that surpassed any other NBA team.
I think the ownership group at the time knew that the team was going to take a while to develop, and that we needed to be an entertainment avenue.
We were always stretching our imaginations, that nothing was impossible.
Winning games was another story. Rothstein's Heat played hard but went unrewarded. 17 games played, 17 games lost.
To say I'm not frustrated, I'd be a liar. But I ain't quitting. and those guys won't either.
The Heat was drawing attention for the wrong reason. The 0-17 start was the NBA's worst ever record to begin a season. It was a cruel and difficult introduction to life in the NBA, and it left many people wondering just when this expansion team would earn its first win.
The frustration starts building because you're right there. You're not getting blown out. You're working hard. You're matching up. Just a couple of mistakes here and there could turn the game.
You're watching the late night shows and you become part of the jokes. And I say to myself, we got to win sometime.
Every time the Heat loses, we're going to add a candle to this altar. And unfortunately, as the Heat kept losing and losing, we kept adding candles.
Their collective heart and hustle did not go unnoticed. The team kept fighting for a win, and the fans kept fighting for their team.
We're not going to give up, and we just hope that the people that are supporting us are not going to give up, and we're going to get a win sooner or later.
I was still worried whether the fans had ever left us, and they never deserted us.
We'd lose games, but we'd walk off the court, man, and the crowd is just cheering, good job.
The respect the community had for the hustle and the fight and the energy that Ronnie Rothstein and Tony brought to that team. It was just great.
I just said, look, it doesn't matter. We've got to show up the next day and do what we need to do to try and get a win.
We were measuring ourselves about how much more competitive we were getting, how much better we were running the system, how much better we were playing defense. And it was our philosophy that if we continued to do these things, we would get our win.
And eventually, they did.
The first victory hangs in the balance right here. Dixon on the outside. 5 seconds, 3 seconds, slips it, stops, jumps, shoots, it's on its way, no good. Miami Heat win! The Miami Heat win!
Pat came running up to me, and I was like in shock. Pat wasn't the hugging kind of guy. And Dave wasn't the hugging kind of guy either. And, we hugged. It was just the emotion of the moment.
It was the first euphoric moment in Heat history. when we finally got that first win.
It was like a 50-ton gorilla just was off our back. It was so relievful just to get that win finally. It felt like we won the World Championship trophy.
The only thing to missing in the locker room after that game was champagne.
Everybody was happy, everybody was upbeat, and we felt like we had accomplished something and we could kind of build from there.
It gave everybody the confidence knowing that we could win and we could go out, and hopefully it wouldn't be another 17 before we had another win.